video is show you how I intend to create the roads and asphalt parking areas on my layout. I started by using a material called foamy to make roads. As you can see, they look good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Here's the road using the foamies. It's not that bad looking. But this road, as I look at it, just looks a lot more realistic. And this is the road surface using the ballast, and give you an idea of what the final product's going to actually look like. And then I had an exchange with a fellow on the O-Gauge Railroad Magazine forum about how I make roads. And I showed him the one by the coal tower, and he was most interested in that, which then caused me to think that, well, while I make a section of my road, just as I demonstrated how I ballast the fast track on another video, that I'd go ahead and just tape. But before I begin, I just want to explain briefly what I'm going to use to complete this project. I've got a little cup here that I'm going to mix my glues, which is kind of a, if I'm not mistaken, it's about a 2-to-1, 2 parts water to 1 part glue, and in this case I use something called Mod Podge. It's not much different than like a white Elmer's glue. Right now I've got it mixed in this old container of Woodland Scenic cement, and then I have alcohol that I'll spray the gravel with, or the ballast with, the road surface with, so that the glue will break right through, and the water surface tension won't prevent the glue from going into the stones. Little sponge brush that I'm going to use to lay down some glue onto the surface of the layout, and then a spoon that I'll use to move out and lay down the gravel ballast. Now, when I use the foamy material like this, which is really neat, for the roads, it wasn't as difficult to deal with this particular problem. You have a choice when you're going from one road's track surface to another track surface. There's about a 1/2 inch difference between the bottom of the track and the top of the ties of this track. When I used this material, it was pretty easy because I just put some blocks of foam board here, and then stretched this on, glued it down, and then I painted it, and then I was done. But in the case of the gravel, I don't want to put in a 1/2 inch of fine and medium ballast to this area here. It'd be a lot of it. So my first challenge is, what do I do? So I think what I'm going to do is lay down some foam board, like this. I'll just cut it, pretty much follow this area, and bring it right to the top of the track surface, and then just lay down a very fine layer of the mixture of fine and medium ballast, so it looks like the road surface, but yet not smooth like the foamy. So let me get started, and we'll see how this all works out. Now, what I've decided to do to cover, to fill in this area, was to cut a couple of pieces of foam board, and I'm just going to lay them down in here. like that, and that brings it up almost a full ½ an inch. And then I had the bright idea, because I've faced this problem before and I've solved it in various ways, and it just occurred to me that probably the easiest way to make things look a little more presentable would be to just lay in some plaster cloth, and I'll probably lay a piece, maybe two, and run it down, and then that way finishing up the landscaping and the scenicking around here will be a lot easier. And as you can see, it gives that surface right to the surface to surface. Wait, I think I've got this in reverse. There we go. And it'll come down, and then I'll fill in with the road surface material. It'll cover so there'll be nice road surface, but it's not going to take up a whole lot of ballast. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, is a little glue down here, a little glue between the two of them, and then lay these fellows down here. And then once they're set a little bit, I'm going to cover it with the plaster cloth and get settled with that. And then I'm going to mix up a batch of my fine ballast and medium ballast road surface, and I'm going to lay down the coat and see how it all looks. Hopefully it'll look pretty good. And here we go. Here's my mixture. And once again, since cars really don't ride over this stuff, I'm not that concerned about how stiff it is, how secure it is. This will secure these foam boards just fine. So let me get it down here. So first the smaller board. Oops, there we go. Leave that little fella right there. And I'll probably put some pressure on it, and then I'll secure the other one. Top of it. I don't know what those stones in there, but it won't set very well. Okay. There, and then I'll let those set, and then I'll be back to put the plaster cloth on. Okay, here goes the other sheet on top of that one, I hope. Now the beauty of this is once this is all down here and you put the stone on, you can fill in with a little bit of ballast, and then here will be greens and bushes or dirt, whatever you want, but it'll work out nicely. Okay, well, the next step is to lay this stuff down, and let's adjust. It sure looks like it's going to take much more than I thought. Now let me go mix up a batch more and I'll be back. Okay, here goes. I'm gonna get it. A tad more, and I will be back. Okay, so now I've got to kind of clean up the edges and then bring the ballast, the road surface right up to the track. And over here as well. I'll tell you what I have found. It's often kind of hard to beat the Mark III finger and that sort of stuff. Now, you know what I think? I think I'm going to lay some more fine ballast over the top and make it a little less bumpy. Now this idea of using cinder ballast as a road material is not my original idea. I first saw the roads made when they were finished on Eric Siegel's website or YouTube videos when he was doing product reviews, and this a number of years ago, and a number of people in the comments asked him if he would do a how-to on his roads, because everybody kind of liked him there. I think that looks a little better. I think I'll get a little bit more and patch up a little bit, but now I think that's got the right look. And so I saw them and thought, wow, that's really neat. And it wasn't until about a year ago when I was starting to work on roads and I decided to put in a little scene by that siding by the coal tower I showed you earlier, that I decided to do this. And then I also had an exchange with another fellow on the OGR forum. He did a scene around his gantry, and I asked him, and he said that he used this stuff. And so I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. I think I'll try it. So right now I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to stop and stop putting any more cinders down. And now I'm going to that should help, I hope. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Oops. I don't know whether the bottle on it will help or not. Oops. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so the next step, so I'm going to take the alcohol and spray the surface with alcohol so that will break the surface tension on the water glue mixture, and it'll seep in. So I'll be back once I get my glue and everything set up. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. I know it mottled up there for a while, but I think once patted a little bit, a little more alcohol to get everything down there, I think we're going to be okay. And in the morning when I check this out, I'll take a close look, and if it's still, if I still have ballast that's loose. I'll probably spritz it a couple times and then it should settle in, but I think it's pretty good looking road surface. I'll be back after everything dries. Thank you. Well, earlier when I thought, as I was cementing the ballast, I thought I had my camera on. I didn't, so I just wanted to give you just a short little tutorial on what I did. But anyway, I just kind of went through the entire area and dropped the glue mixture all through, and then I had a spray bottle once I finished this, and then I sprayed it. As you can see, it's really gone in there, so that alcohol that I put on it helped. And also, I think, since it's damp already, there's lots of glue, that this is going in very easily. So that's what I did through the whole thing, and then sprayed it a little bit, and then just let it set and dry. Thanks. I thought I'd give you an idea of what it looks like if you were driving on it, and it's pretty flat, and it's pretty even, so I'm satisfied. Well, I checked it this morning, and it seems to be fine. I did lay another quick light coat of glue on the top, and then I took a spray can, and rolled it along the top for just a bit to drive in any of those loose cinders. And now I'm satisfied with that road surface. Eventually I'll of course put in the cinder on both sides and then mark the lines. So my next challenge is going to be to to fill in between the tracks and then finish this here so that it looks like a complete road from this side of the track all the way through. And then over here, the road's going to lead in. I'll back up just a bit so you can see. I'll move this stuff out of the way. That building that you see there behind the transformers and all is a Harley Davidson dealership. So what I'm going to do is run the road right along this exit or entrance into the dealership, and then back here will be a parking lot, and then the next building over is the law firm of Howie, Cheatham and Dewey. And back there, I think I'm going to put in like a little park sort of a thing. So that's going to kind of be this area of the layout. But right now I'm going to concentrate on finishing up the road and then moving it out here a bit, and then I'll stop until I get the rest of the ballast down on the track, and then I'll be done in this area. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is work on filling this in, as I said before. And what I don't want to do is just load in a bunch of cinders. I think what I'm going to do, and I'll try this first, is use a piece of the foamy, set it down, get it shaped properly, and then what I'll do is just put a layer of cinders on this, and then put it in. That way the cinders will be hopefully significantly below anything that might rub and free up any cinders as the trains go by, but yet give you the same impression that there's a road surface there. So I'll get started on that, and then when I put it in, I'll show you. Okay, what I did is I laid down a piece of the foamy, stuck it up here, and then kind of did an imprint here on the side, and then I cut it, and I'm going to set it in there and kind of shape it and make sure it's okay. And then I'm trying to make sure that there is enough space between the rail and the foamy so that the wheels won't interfere. And then I'll cut another piece for over here, and you can see there's enough room for the wheels, and then I'm just going to put the fine ballast on top, and I should be done with that part. Okay, I have the templates. Well, actually not templates, they're the base for the road surface. Okay, this is how I decided I'm going to deal with the roadbed between the rails. So I have the piece of foamy, and what I'm going to do is move it out of the way here for a bit, and I'm going to hit the foamy with just a tad of alcohol, and then lay in a little bit of cement. What I find interesting is it doesn't go into the foamy, which is actually pretty good, because it's one of the reasons why you can easily paint this stuff and not have it warp or anything, and it doesn't soak up a lot of paint when you paint it. So for the roads that you saw earlier in the video, I did actually put a coat of Woodland Scenics asphalt paint. So I'm just going to let this sit here for just a tad and make sure the glue's in there. Okay, now I'm just going to take a little bit of the fine ballast, because that's really the final top coat on the road surface, and just lay it in here, just enough to cover it so it gives you that appearance, but not so much that it's real deep and would interfere with the trucks on the train or the wheels, and as importantly, not leave anything behind. So I'm just kind of finishing up these. And now they're all done, so I'm just going to wait probably till the end of the day before I move them and secure them to the track. Well, this is nearly complete. I'm going to wrap up this video because the only thing I really need to do is secure the pieces between the track, which is no big deal, and this piece. But that gives you an idea of what it's going to look like once I get those down. I've run the train through, the car through, which causes no problems, fortunately. So we're good to go. Now I'm going to give it a couple of days to really cure before I do the final scenicking, and then I have got to decide how I'm going to stripe the road, if I am at all. I may not stripe it, but probably one down the middle. I don't know about the edges, but I'll make that decision sometime in the future. But for now, the road's complete.